Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a good feeling about the show tonight. Dr. Franklin Ruehl is here, and the time is 8:02. We're here in Los Angeles, California, and here he is, Dr. Franklin Ruehl, tonight, talking about one of the most important things, the most favorite things to talk about on the internet, the paranormal, right?
That and ufology.
And ufology and
cryptozoology.
And cryptozoology, absolutely, tonight, which are very popular topics on the internet. Of course, when we talk about this, we're talking about the Sasquatch, we're talking about the Loch Ness Monster, these sorts of things.
Yes.
We're talking about
Bigfoot creatures.
Bigfoot. We're talking about Yeti, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of fun talking about all that tonight. How you doing?
Fine.
Thank you for coming,
High honor
Dr.
to be
Ruehl.
On your show.
So good to have you back. So good to have you back. Dr. Ruehl is, of course, a friend of the show, been here. How many times have you done the show over the years? 5, 6, 7,
well, I was
18 times?
I was on your MTV, the New Tom Green Show, 3 times.
Yes.
And then I've done 2 of my own shows here, and then this is my 4th guest appearance on your show.
Oh yeah, we got to do a few. You have another episode in you?
I always have episodes.
Really?
Right.
Another mysteries from the other
dominion?
Yeah,
I have a lot of material here we might discuss if we
You came pretty prepared tonight.
Always have to be over-prepared because you never know when you might just goes faster than you expect.
Yeah.
And if we can't cover it tonight, then perhaps another night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How much was the cab ride over here, anyways?
I think it was around $28.40.
$28.40.
Yeah.
You're 28 bucks away from this. That's how awesome is that? We, call up Dr. Ruehl. And put me in a cab, we'll do it. I appreciate it.
Well, I was on a VH1 show the other day, and they sent a limo for me, Tom.
Yeah. I know. I thought I'd draw attention to the humor of the reality of the situation here.
Right.
Yeah. You just jumped in a cab and came over here tonight. I appreciate it.
Okay. As I said, it's always a high honor to be on the Tom Green Show.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Look at that sun setting right over the horizon at this time of night.
It's really beautiful.
So let's see here. Now let's go on to the Skype for a second and see what we got. Do you want to take some calls on Skype?
Why don't we go to one of the subjects we have for tonight, then that can generate some good questions.
What is something you'd like to talk about tonight?
Okay, whichever one you have coming up first, because we have some Bigfoot footage, some alien footage.
Oh, are you saying you want to go right to the video?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
I think that'll give our audience.
Right, let's have a look at a video real quick then.
Okay. Do you recognize that, Tom?
No, what is that?
That is from a purported alien autopsy from an alien supposedly retrieved from Roswell, New Mexico from 1947. And this is a very controversial video. Those who created it claimed this was actual video taken by the government during an autopsy of an alien being that was retrieved from a downed flying saucer at Roswell. Many of us are skeptical of that, and I've come up with the hypothesis that this might actually be a human being.
Yeah,
and
we pulled this off YouTube today.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that in the 40s, medical scientists were for the first time experimenting with radiation to cure various ailments. And this was done at major universities around the country, and they're treating all types of problems. This looks to me like actually a child suffering from the condition known as progeria, which is rapid onset aging. And a child who's 5 may begin to look like he's 80, 90, 100 years old. And they may have been trying to treat this child with radiation. And this could actually be governmental footage as opposed to fake footage that some ufologists had created. Now, this was criticized at the time because they said the camera cut away several times, so they felt that was an indication that this was actually a fabricated videotape. But it may have actually been done by people who were trying to videotape the condition at the time. On the other hand, it could be an absolute fake, but even those of us in the ufological community are skeptical that this is an alien being.
Let's cut away from this for a second.
From Roswell, New Mexico.
Where did you get this, on YouTube?
Yeah, but it's been around for a number of years.
This is on YouTube today. Right. It's unbelievable.
Right.
And what other amazing videos do we have today?
So I just want to say, again, my contention is that the universe is literally teeming with life, and it's certainly conceivable that ETs have landed here and have actually, even in some cases, crash landed. But this particular alien autopsy, I do not believe is that of an alien being, unfortunately.
Pretty unbelievable footage, though.
Yes. And here we have, as I understand it, this is an actual human baby.
Oh, cut away from that. I don't want to look at that. Cut away from that. What is that? Well, Logan, use some judgment when you pick this stuff off YouTube, okay?
As far as we know, this is a human baby.
I don't want to. Let's look at something else. Sick. Who are you?
It brings up the
what
question.
kind of human being to pull something like that off the internet for people to look at?
It's certainly concevel.
Look, let's not even look at that. I don't even want to talk about that. What else do we have here?
Tom, could we talk about that for a minute? Okay, well, let's take a look at this.
What's this?
This is purported...
This is the Loch Ness Monster.
Well, not Loch Ness, but this is a lake monster.
Can we watch this at full volume for a second? We pulled this off YouTube. Bring our mics down for a second.
Running, and I just followed you out there.
There's nothing out there.
Yeah, something on the water. Look, right there. In the water. Look,
Holy cow, what is that?
What is that?
Oh my God, is that a shark?
Run him.
Keep rolling. Where is it? Where is it?
Over there. Right over there. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Are you pulling? What's everybody doing? What's going on? I was running around the other side of the deck. I saw nothing. I mean, when I got to the side of the boat, I admit, I saw there was some sort of little wake in the water, which I was unclear about, but, I mean, it could have been a fish.
Where? I swear, where is it? Look.
It was moving towards us very quickly, and from the amount of water, the sheer amount of water it was displacing.
This is our sonar system. We have sensors.
We were interviewing Katana, and
The clip is over? I had to tell you something, man. This is important. Oh. So you mean we're on the air? Are we on the air?
Yes, now.
Oh my God, this show tonight is just like, you know, I put some gel in my hair before the show. And I never put gel in my hair, and you know, now it's flipping me out, man. It's flipping me right out.
Okay. Well, maybe we talk about this lake monster footage.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
There is footage, and there are reports of lake monsters from around the world.
Yeah.
We know, of course, heard of Loch Ness.
Yeah.
But there's the Ogopogo creature up in British Columbia, Canada.
Yep.
Many of the Saddle Lake monster in Canada.
Opiongo.
What's that?
It's the Opiongo.
Oh, what about Ogopogo?
No. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, we have many reports, though. Even the Indians
No,
talk about...
Opiongo monster.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that around the world we have reports of lake monsters. Are these fallacious reports or not? Well, may I point out that...
Hold on one second, Dr. Ruehl.
Yes.
Look back at your camera there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to adjust that shot. Don't cut to a shot like that on the channel, Logan. That's not satisfactory. If you see a shot like that and you're cutting to it, I think you're not aiming for the moon here. Okay. Lead room. Remember we talked about lead room? Come on. Now she's looking good. Sort of. Come on, man. Yeah, there, it's a little better. Yeah. Trying to put on some Webble-vision around here. I got gel in my hair. At least cut to a decent shot, for crying out loud.
Okay. So what
do you think about this Loch Ness? They've said recently that they've had some sightings, haven't they?
We've had sightings over the years from many different lakes, like Lake Champlain,
yeah.
Up in...
but just recently, wasn't there a big one at Loch Ness in Scotland that they got on video? Everyone's flipping out about it.
It's a possibility. Nothing is clear cut.
Yeah.
And what I want to point out is, the question is, could such creatures actually exist? And I believe they could. They could be what were called a type of plesiosaur or aquatic dinosaur. Now, at the end of the dinosaur era, 65 million years ago, the Cretaceous period, there were creatures such as the elasmosaur. They existed then. Some could have found a way to exist in some ecological niche in the waters around the world. And many of these entities may have existed to this very day. Now, the trouble with finding these, each and every one of these lakes, first of all, is very deep like Loch Ness and very muddy. They send divers down with sophisticated camera equipment and they just can't see anything, even with night vision cameras. So capturing on film one of these is a very difficult task. Now, could they exist? Certainly, because in 1938, we found the coelacanth, a fossil fish that predated the dinos and was thought to have been extinct for millions of years, suddenly found off the coast of Madagascar. And this wasn't a guppy. 5 to 6 feet in length, 100 pounds in weight. If that creature could have survived to the present time, then why not some aquatic dinosaurs that we call lake monsters? And I think it's just a matter of time before we discover one of these. For example, off the coast of China, they recently found a skeleton of an entity that really resembled what we call a sea serpent, a long-necked aquatic entity with a short tail, certainly resembled an elasmosaur. And we have the Lake Tanachi lake monster at the border between Korea and China. So this could have been fossil evidence that such a creature existed, at least until recent times. Now, another problem, however, is that some of the wave motion you see, people are saying, well, look, there's a creature in the water. It may not even be a fish. It could actually be the result of underground earthquakes that cause the ripple effect that's misinterpreted as being a lake monster. So we have to keep an open mind, be aware that you can mistake ripples in a lake for a creature. But on the other hand, I think we may at some time in the future find actual evidence of lake monsters, what we call lake monsters, survivors from the dinosaur era.
A lot of people think that they might be sturgeon.
Well, that's true. There are a number of large fish, pike, sturgeon, etc. And each lake would have to be examined one at a time. But I certainly think it's possible that some survivors, based on the coelacanth that was thought to be extinct for millions of years, suddenly turning up. And we have other creatures that suddenly we thought had been extinct, and it's found that they're still existing today. So I think that each one of these needs to be examined, and some of them may turn out to be something more exciting than just a sturgeon.
Hear, hear. Where are you calling from, my friend?
Jersey. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing quite good. We've got Dan from New Jersey. We're here with Dr. Franklin Ruehl, asking and answering questions tonight. You're asking them, he's answering them. I don't know if that makes any sense.
And what's your question, Dan?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what we're doing. No, but seriously, he can answer them. Paranormal, it's big on the internet, right?
It certainly is.
We're going for a ratings grab here tonight, okay, Dr. Ruehl?
Fine.
A ratings grab.
I'm all for that.
I did a little Google search. I said, what's the biggest thing on the internet? You know what it is?
What?
Paranormal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Dan, with your ghoul lighting, ask us a ghosty question.
I just want to say before I ask my question, I thought that show you did with the piano, you were just jamming out, was awesome. I think you should do more of those.
Oh, with Leonard Mills when he comes by.
Yeah.
Always nice to have him around.
Yeah. All right. Now.
And it's nice to have you around. What camera do you think I'm pointing at, Logan? It's nice to have you around. Like, seriously, what are you thinking about right now? There was a moment that we missed, an opportunity that was missed there.
Okay. Does he have a question?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Do you have a question for Dr. Ruehl?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that there's like some kind of life form out there in the universe, but honestly, do you think they're interested in us? I mean, we're pretty boring. We just surf the internet and just go on random websites like 4chan or something like that. Now, I'm not going to anything evil because I don't believe in that. But I do go to that site and
I go to 4chan.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, I've been going to 4chan. I'd never been, I'm going to say something honestly, I'd never been before until literally about a month and a half ago, and I've been going quite a bit since I checked it out. I love it. I'm down for the cause. 4chan! 4chan!
It's just a bunch of people bored out of their minds.
I love it, man. I'm right in there with you, man. Right in there with you.
I mean, I'm bored too, but that's everything.
Absolutely. Hey, I got a blue cue card under my chin too, man. I got a blue cue card under my chin too. Peace out.
So could I try to answer his question? Would aliens be interested in human beings who might be considered inferior to them?
Yes.
Well, I think just as we study everything possible with our science, including insects and microbes as well as larger flora and fauna on our planet. That curiosity is the basis of all intelligence, and any entities that would have the ability to travel beyond the boundaries of their own planet would have such curiosity. And if nothing else, they'd want to catalog what's on each and every planet, if only for basic knowledge. And of course, there might be some reason they might want to exploit what's on each planet. For example, we hear about cattle mutilations. Why would ETs want to mutilate cattle? After the first mutilation,
Don't mention ET around here.
I keep forgetting.
That's just a joke.
I know.
I don't think about it.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
We'll say, why would aliens want to mutilate cattle after the first one they've done what they want? Well, possibly cattle have some sort of protein component that they need for their own existence, and rather than perhaps killing higher entities such as humans, they might be destroying these cattle or experimenting with them for whatever components they might have. So there could be a method behind their madness.
You know, I had a experience in a place called St. Paul, Alberta, where I actually went to the town of St. Paul, Alberta, where they actually have an alien landing pad.
Yeah, I know. They're inviting aliens to land
built
there.
in the
Yeah, I
town.
did an article on that for the Inquirer some years ago.
Oh, you did? Well, I've
Yeah.
been up to the town, met the mayor.
Yeah.
They actually have frequent cattle mutilations up there.
I know.
From aliens. I was actually driven out to cattle.
That cow that had been mutilated?
Poor cow that had been mutilated by aliens.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
so it could be some protein, or perhaps they actually find the innards of a cow a delicacy that they enjoy eating.
But the thing I can say here is I went up there to St. Paul, Alberta, and you can do a Google search on it, and you can actually see a picture of the alien landing
know.
pad.
They're welcome.
If you don't believe me, I'm not making this up.
That's been covered many times.
But listen to this.
Yes.
I looked through a farmer's book of photos he had of all the cows that have been mutilated in the area by aliens. Can you? I mean, by something, obviously. Now,
Right.
is it possible that it's some sort of satanic cult or something
Well,
like
it could
that?
be satanic cult, or some speculate it's just some sort of
Clearly, one thing is true. There was a picture, a book of a bunch of cows that had been all gutted open and things like
But
this.
we have a few well-documented cases where UFOs have been seen in the vicinity of mutilated cows.
UFOs, exactly what is that? A light?
Well, it could be anything.
A light in the sky?
It could be a light in the sky. It could be a full-fledged structure.
UFOs, are they real? Is this a true phenomenon? Tonight on Tom Green Live, we have Dr. Franklin Ruehl, expert in this area, and we're going to be looking at some video that we've pulled down off YouTube. Now, what are we looking at here? What is this image that we're seeing here, Dr. Ruehl? This was pulled down off YouTube today, off of abum.com, it looks like, and we're seeing, what are we looking at here? Is this a hot air balloon?
This looks like
a weather balloon? Oh, did you see the speed at which it...
Well, this is a question. You know, today's technology allows us to fabricate cases, and I had seen that.
Yes.
And I have to be skeptical of that.
What is it that we're looking at here?
Well,
is it like a balloon, and there's a string attached to the edge of the balcony, perhaps?
It's possible, because with the technology that is accessible to everyone today, fabricated cases, of course, can abound. And of course, we have the technology to dissect them too. But the point is, there are many UFO cases. We had one, as I mentioned recently, was November 7th, 2006, Tuesday, at the O'Hare International Airport, at a traditional saucer-shaped object sighted by at least 12
Sausage?
Saucer-shaped.
Sausage?
Saucer-shaped.
Oh, okay.
And the witnesses were all professionals, including 2 pilots, United Airlines pilots, who...
Professional witnesses.
Who can distinguish between a star and a starship. And they concurred on the basic shape of the object, the fact that it suddenly accelerated from a virtual standstill position right through the cloud cover, leaving a saucer-shaped indentation.
Is this the one that was in Chicago recently?
This is Chicago O'Hare, November 7th, 2006.
Yeah, this was a big sighting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Heard all about it.
Right.
Is it real?
Well, this sounds genuine, because the people, the eyewitnesses, are those who are experienced with airliners, and 2 pilots were included. Now, and adding to the credibility is that no one wanted to come forward and actually go on camera saying they saw it. The only person who was interviewed on CNN was wearing a mask with the voice disguised, And so we don't know if it was a man or a woman because they're afraid of career jeopardy. Now, I lecture at various aerospace firms, such as for their monthly dinner meetings, and invariably after the lecture, engineers and scientists will come up and talk to me about their own personal sighting. But when I try to hand them one of my official UFO forms to fill out, they invariably decline filling them out, or if they accept them, they never send them back because they're afraid of career jeopardy. So we have a lot of high caliber eyewitnesses out there and cases that make us think there is something out there, that the UFO phenomenon is indeed legitimate. Now, obviously there are a lot of phony cases and some natural phenomena. It might just be a meteor in the sky that's mistaken. I've seen a UFO once, and it was diamond-shaped with 4 lights, which has been reported in the UFO Chronicles. However, this was in out in the valley, Granada Hills. We weren't that far from an airport. However, this did not look like any conventional aircraft. The guy beside me didn't even see it because it just was there for about 10 seconds. So I can't be sure I saw an alien spacecraft, but I think it's a possibility, and we should keep an open mind because we are just on the verge of exploring other planets. A society, let's say, is 1,000 years older than we are, which is nothing on the cosmological timescale. We're talking about a universe that's 13 to 20 billion years old. 1,000 years older than us could explore, would have the capability to explore planet after planet, even going into other galaxies possibly. So it's certainly within the realm of feasibility that aliens have landed here, have explored our planet, if not in the present time, in the distant past with so-called ancient astronauts.
This is, I believe it.
And people ask, well, why would they visit our planet? Again, they might just be cataloging for basic knowledge. They might be looking for resources to exploit. Or at some point, they might actually look at this as a place to colonize. And at some point in the future, there'd be an armed invasion or perhaps something more sophisticated, such as climatological warfare, where they'd alter our planet so it would suit their needs with the destruction of mankind as a byproduct.
We could become like chickens someday.
That's absolutely possible. You know, we've covered some of these themes in sci-fi, such as that famous case To Serve Man on the Twilight Zone. Do you remember that? Where the candidates came, and the question was, what did the book To Serve Man mean? And in the end, the actress said, Mr. Chambers, it's a cookbook. Because to serve man was that they came here because they were going to use us as a food source. Certainly within the realm of feasibility. Sci-fi, but sci-fi in some cases may be accurate.
Now you actually, Dr. Ruehl, just for our new viewers, are an actual physicist.
Yeah, I have a PhD in nuclear physics, and originally I was teaching at UCLA, thought I would get my tenure, did not, but at the same time I'd already been writing and lecturing on the serious evidence for UFOs and ETs because I thought those in the scientific community were more or less disregarding the scientific proof and trying to debunk every case instead of looking at the possibility that we're not alone in the universe.
It's
so
interesting.
I sort of made the transition into television and writing and lecturing.
Yeah.
And here behind us we have the face of Mars, which I think...
Oh, I know you love that.
I love that, yes.
This is the face of Mars. Tell us about this.
This is taken by the Viking 1 orbiter, July 20th, 1976, from an altitude of about 1,170 miles above the northern area of Mars known as Cydonia. It appears to be a humanoid face carved into the surface.
That's a humanoid face right there.
Yes, well, he's one of the engineers who actually analyzed it by computer.
I thought that was actually, once it zoomed in, it started to look almost like a real person there for a second. Vincent who is that?
Di Pietro, one of the 2 scientists from NASA who actually analyzed that by computer and found that it appears to be inherently different from the surrounding terrain, suggesting that it might be created as opposed to a natural
Wait,
object.
What is this computer here? What are we looking at?
Well, they're
here?
just showing us
how
on
YouTube? What is this, 1973?
Well, they were trying to analyze
what is this,
it. They were
COBOL
trying to
programmers
analyze it
with
by
COBOL?
computer to show that it indeed could be a structure similar to our 4 presidential faces at Mount Rushmore or the 3 heroes of the Confederacy at Stone Mountain down in Georgia.
Well, Mount Rushmore, no one has ever indicated they thought that was made by aliens, have they?
No, that point is, but it's just the opposite. If aliens sent a probe to our planet and sent back photos of the 4 faces there of the 3 heroes of the Confederacy, or perhaps the Sphinx in Egypt, or the world's largest Buddha that used to be in Bami in Afghanistan before the Taliban destroyed it.
Wait, where's the world's largest Buddha?
It had been carved in the side of a mountain in Bami in Afghanistan, but the Taliban
that
destroyed
up recently, yeah.
In a few,
what was it, 10 years ago?
Yeah, but the point
How
is
horrible was that? Doesn't that just hurt to see that?
It's terrible because there's this,
that was a big Buddha.
Yes, it was the world's largest. But the point is, Tom,
Yeah.
that an alien probe sending back such photos to the home planet might receive the same sort of skepticism. They said, those are natural structures. They couldn't have been created by intelligence. Well, that's the same response that our narrow-minded scientists, by being unscientifically myopic, have been saying about the face of Mars. It's just a natural structure. Now, we can't prove it. It's going to take a manned landing there to actually investigate. Subsequent photos by later probes don't show the same degree of detail, but skeptics in the ufological community have argued that NASA's deliberately reduced their sharpness because they don't want to admit that there could have been an advanced civilization.
Really? You think they dulled it out a little bit? There could be eyelashes on that thing for all we know.
No, but the whole point is the later photos aren't as sharp as the original from 1976. But again, it's going to take a team that would include archaeologists.
There could be eyelashes on it, man.
There could have been it originally.
So what other video do we got in the hopper here for Dr. Franklin Ruehl to talk about here tonight on Tom Green Live? We have Dr. Franklin Ruehl here with us tonight. If you want to send us your mail, you can send it to 3940 Laurel Canyon Boulevard, number 1178, Studio City, California. Let's get that up on the screen there, Logan. 91604. That's if you want to send us your mail. Let's open let's do a mailbag segment real quick, Dr. Ruehl. This is some mail that we've received
these beautiful crop circles
from around the world. This doesn't look like it's going to be a who's who in the zoo, but again, if you do send a copy of Who's Who in the Zoo, ladies and gentlemen, it will stay on the desk for as long as we do the show. Let's open the mail later. What were we talking about, Dr. Ruehl?
Well, we're looking at some fantastic crop circles.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's have a look at that. Some video we found on YouTube today.
Artistic.
Wow. Okay, what is this?
Well, these are just some of the magnificent crop circles that have appeared around the world.
That's aliens wouldn't have come up with that.
Okay, well,
hippies come up with that.
Okay.
Look at that.
Well, this is where we have the evolution of the crop circle.
What do you mean? It's tie-dye. This isn't what aliens do.
Okay, may I talk about this, please?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Because
wouldn't there be numbers in it if there was aliens?
Not necessarily. The point is that the original crop circles that used to appear, some very impressive cases, some where UFOs were seen nearby, were basically actual circles that had indentations.
Crop circles, you're on the air.
With pods in.
Crop circles.
Then in the last
I just want to remind everyone that there are people calling in
10 to 15 years.
Okay, what? I'm sorry to interrupt.
10 to 15 years ago, we suddenly saw this evolution from the simple, what might be an indentation made by an extraterrestrial vehicle, to these elaborate forms, which I have to say, well, they're beautiful. I'm skeptical of them coming from aliens because you've asked the question, why would aliens start creating these type of beautiful patterns?
Yeah.
Whereas the original crop circles were really just landing indentations.
Look at those patterns. That was like a nice, a snowflake.
Fantastically artistic. But I'm very skeptical they're created by aliens.
Now, what other video do we have in the hopper here? Because we've loaded some video that we found on YouTube today into the hopper. And we're going to play it back. And I'm excited because you can speak on all of this stuff. Well, people love this stuff.
Well, I hope so.
People out there in the world love this stuff, paranormal. And here we are. We've got Dr. Franklin Ruehl here tonight. You have a PhD in what? You're a quantum physicist?
No, nuclear physics.
What is quantum physics?
Well, quantum physics deals more with the microscopic world, whereas nuclear physics it's a little different, although there's an overlap between the two. But as you know, quantum physics upsets Einstein because he said God does not play dice with the universe. And with quantum physics, you have the inherent problem that there is an uncertainty. For example, with quantum physics, they say you can't tell exactly where, for example, an electron is that's orbiting a nucleus. There may be a 90% chance that it's so-called nearest shell, the S shell, but there's a 10% chance at any moment it may be in the P shell. And this degree of uncertainty, which is inherent in quantum physics, really disturbed Einstein. That's why I said God doesn't play dice with the universe.
I've always wanted to know more about quantum physics.
Yes.
Like this book, The Secret. You know, this popular book, The Secret,
right.
And it's basically about quantum physics indirectly, is it not?
That's true. And it gets into
is time travel possible?
I believe that it might be, but we get into the time paradox, if I might just elaborate. But we have some footage of Bigfoot behind us.
Bigfoot,
Yeah.
then time travel.
Okay.
And taking your calls here on the National Level-Vision.
Now this is the famous Patterson footage.
Okay. Who
And,
was Patterson?
Roger Patterson.
Okay.
And this is 1967 taken in
Not
California.
Patty Patterson?
Not Patty Patterson.
Too bad.
And it's a controversial footage of a possible Bigfoot or someone in a costume.
Yeah, let's look at that
It's been
again.
analyzed and reanalyzed.
This has been looked at since
67.
The thing that is cool about this Patterson footage is that I remember this from when I was a kid, way before the internet. I'm talking about in the late 70s.
Right.
I remember them playing this on the CBC, on the regular TV news. Look at this, and it's clearly just a guy in a gorilla suit, right?
Well,
Walking
they don't
through
say-
Algonquin Park or something like that.
Well, they did an excellent job in terms of the costuming and his mannerisms, and it's still being debated today. So some primatologists still accept the possibility that it may not be a man in a suit, but you know, we have to be skeptical, especially.
You have to be skeptical when you look at that.
Yeah, but I want to talk about the possibility that Bigfoot may exist. I went up to northern Manitoba in 2005 for a current affair because we had a bargeman who had taken some footage of what might be a Bigfoot creature. Not as distinct as that, and here's the problem you get into this with Bigfoot, lake monsters, or UFOs. If the footage is too sharp, then everyone is skeptical. If it's too blurry, or if they're too far away, then the skeptics say, well, we can't tell what that is.
It's about how bad you make the video without making it look too bad.
Well,
That's the trick.
The bargeman, and I spoke to him personally, seemed to be honest. The footage looked like it could be a Bigfoot creature. You know, so we're talking about Bigfoot typically 7 to 8 feet tall, 300 to 400 pounds. By the way, one of the first cases involved Teddy Roosevelt in his book, The Wilderness Hunter. He didn't see one, but he interviewed a hunter who claimed that he and his partner were attacked by such a creature and that his partner was actually killed by that entity. And Teddy Roosevelt thought that it possibly existed. Now, just as with the coelacanth and lake monsters, certainly such a creature could have existed all these eons without being discovered. We didn't discover the mountain gorilla until the beginning of the 20th century.
Yeah, well.
So it's certainly possible there are other entities. When I was flying up from Winnipeg to northern Manitoba to the area known as Norway House, which is basically an Indian village, I was so impressed with the foliage, forestation on the left, the right, the north, east, south, and west. You could have had 100 creatures hidden there. And the time this was
I
taken
can see
this spring.
possibly in the Canadian North, but isn't America too populated to have an animal, a large mammal of that size?
No,
that we
certainly in
haven't
the Pacific Northwest it's possible. And we have a new team that's just going right now, you may have read about on the internet, to the Upper Peninsula area of Michigan.
Yeah, right now in Michigan. This is on the front page of AOL.com today.
It is.
They're talking about this.
Yes.
It's very current.
Yeah, I know. The guy is...
We're not just goofing around here.
The Moneymaker project, and he's an excellent cryptozoologist. What I want to say is in going up to northern Manitoba, we had people who were, even though this is an Indian village, everyone had sophisticated cell phone cameras bringing us photos of footprints they had. One team actually brought the huge box with the footprint in it because this Bigfoot creature is seen on an island right off the coast of off the shore.
Sure.
And we were wondering, because I started to get calls
And of
from
course
all
they
over.
brought it because it took them 45 minutes to make.
Well, I don't think it was made. And we also found other...
You know, proudly they displayed it to a current
Well.
affair. You worked for a current affair, really? How cool is that?
This was the new...
Maury Povich was on that show.
Yeah, no, this was the Tim Green,
Yeah.
the new version of it in
Tim Green,
2005.
yeah.
It lasted about 8 months.
Oh, yeah.
And I was up there, I covered the 50th anniversary of Area 51.
They probably thought it was me hosting it.
Maybe you would have done ideal for it.
Come on, I'm just goofing around here.
But the point is that we found various types of evidence. In fact, some hairs that were analyzed, unidentifiable, couldn't pinpoint what they were. And also, some creature in that area had been pulling the feathers and bones off of birds, which bears don't do. And if it was a bear, he would have eaten everything. Instead, this looked like it was a more sophisticated creature. And I point out there's a new discovery, for example, that
How is it more sophisticated? Did it eat its deer with a fork and knife?
no, but the birds that were eaten, they had the feathers left on. And we've learned just recently that gorillas actually use leaves to wipe their face using leaves as napkins.
Well, what else are they going to use?
Well, we're surprised they use anything.
I know.
So there's a degree of sophistication.
That's the
difference between
I know you were surprised they'd use anything.
Bears
That's
and
why
apes.
I said, what else are you going to use? Let's take a call.
So,
Come on.
so I want to just say, I think it's possible that these creatures could perhaps be in hibernation, and in walking around that area, it's very difficult for us humans to get around.
Hey,
There's
listen,
bramble bush
I
everywhere.
lived in Canada my whole life. I
Yeah.
never even saw a bear in the wild.
Okay,
You know
that's
what I mean?
a good
So
point.
how are you going to spot a Sasquatch?
Yeah.
Hey, you're
And
on
yet-
the air.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, what's going on?
I have a question for
Dr. Ruehl, Dr. Franklin Ruehl here, yes.
Yes, sir.
He can answer it.
Well, I'll try.
100% sure.
Let's hear what it is.
All right, there's a theory of the different civilizations, class 1, class 2, and class 3. And I was curious, class 3 is where there's a civilization that hops around and goes around the universe and just visits different planets.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Well, there's many theories, but he's talking about different classes of aliens out there. With
Okay.
different sophistication.
All
So
right.
what's the specific question?
Yeah, I was curious, if there's a class 3 civilization, why haven't we seen it yet? They're hopping around looking at resources and such.
Okay. Many reasons. First of all, we have many people who claim they have seen aliens and UFOs, so perhaps they have been seen. But on the other hand, I'd like to submit the idea that ETs visiting our planet might want to keep their distance from humans if they have any idea of what humans or other advanced civilizations are like. Among other things, they might be afraid of us. For example, that shoot first, ask questions later profile that the military has. Or we might try to capture them and dissect them, or put them on exhibition in exobiological gardens, or today, perhaps on pay-per-view. So I think they have a legitimate reason for keeping their distance from humans. And it's certainly possible they might fear us. Or they simply they're abiding by the prime directive as seen on Star Trek, not to interfere with inferior races.
They
in any
watch
way.
Star Trek?
Well, I'm just saying that the prime directive, the theory of the prime directive, might actually exist where
They don't watch Star Trek.
Well, they might have picked up our transmissions.
I know what you're saying. You're saying that you're saying Gene Roddenberry nailed it, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying that's one possible explanation of why ETs aren't landing on the White House lawn.
Because Gene Roddenberry nailed it.
Well, and or as I said, they might be just cataloging our resources, perhaps even using some without our knowledge, or on a more diabolical nature, they may have bases underwater or hidden in different areas, such as the Himalayas. For example, the tsunami of 2005 was triggered in the Indian Ocean, but there are reports of UFOs coming out of an area north of that in the Himalayas. And that might account for it. They were triggering a tsunami to see what type of destruction it might wreak on our planet as a possible means of ultimately conquering us. Or a more sophisticated way to conquer us would be through climatological warfare. I mentioned that originally on the other show we had, that there are different ways they could either venusificate us, that is, to make our planet hotter, not that they're necessarily
The global warming. Maybe that's caused by these aliens you're talking about.
Well, they could be promoting it.
I hear they like White Castle.
Well, on the other hand, if they're from a colder planet, they might want to Martianize us. Not necessarily from Mars, but a colder planet. And there are ways they could trigger that, such as by spreading iron dust on the ocean. The iron dust would promote algal growth. Algae draw down CO2, which cools our planet. This is actually how our last major ice age started, from iron dust being blown into the seas. And or increasing forestation, which draws down CO2. May I tell you something, just as an aside, not aliens, but how the Mongols actually caused the little ice age in the 1500s in Europe.
Absolutely. Can you talk about that while I just quickly go grab a beer out of the fridge?
Well, I want you to hear this.
I will, I can hear you. I'm just going to run over there while you're talking about it, okay?
Okay.
Is that rude, or?
Yes, it is.
It is, really?
I know.
Okay, I don't have to.
The Mongols.
No, I'll be right back. Just talk about it.
Okay,
I'll be right
Mongols.
back. I'm listening to you. The Mongols. I love this stuff.
Okay, the Mongols had besieged the Italians, and the Mongols, however, were starting to come down with the plague, and they realized they were losing this battle, but they started to catapult their corpses into the Italian fortress there. Those disease-plagued corpses transmitted their disease to the Italians. When the Italians got back to Europe, that was the beginning of the Black Death that ultimately killed about 25 million people throughout Europe. Now, I don't know if the Mongol leader at that time, Javakak, this wasn't Genghis Khan, but someone later, this is late 1400s, knew or had any idea of the profound effect his action of catapulting those corpses would have. But ultimately led to the Black Death in Europe, about 25 million people. But this had another effect. Because you had so many people dying, more individuals started to go into the cities.
We're back.
Cities and abandon the farms. This led to an increase in forestation. The forest drew down CO2, and this actually triggered the Little Ice Age of the 1500s in Europe.
People don't care about ice ages.
Yeah, but this is an example of how we ourselves,
I'm just making a statement
how
about the world today.
Mongols,
people don't care about ice ages.
How the Mongols, how you can affect the climate. So consider what sophisticated aliens.
People don't care about how Mongols affect the climate. Let's move on. What else do we have here?
I found it very exciting.
No.
But the whole point is this is how aliens could affect our climate, engaging what I call climatological warfare.
People don't care about ice ages.
More sophisticated way
People don't care about how the Mongols affect the climate. Okay, hello, you're on the air. Dr. Franklin Ruehl.
Ask Dr. Franklin Ruehl.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, ask a question.
I wanted to ask Dr. Franklin Ruehl.
And we have you on Skype as well, Miker Schleicher. Hey, Miker Schleicher, how you doing? What's going on with you tonight? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from St. Paul.
St. Paul.
And it's Michael.
Look at your camera while you're talking to us, okay? Don't look at your screen, look at your camera. And you have a question for Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Where are you calling from, first of all?
I'm calling from Oakdale, Minnesota. It's basically Twin Cities.
Okay, good, awesome. Well, up near Minnesota there, huh? Near Fargo?
About 200-300 miles away.
Okay, nowhere near it. Go ahead and ask a question.
I was just wondering how Dr. Franklin Ruehl got into this whole field. And what got him interested? Was it like the crop circles or something?
No, actually, I think that I'm a product of the television age, and and movies, saying sci-fi movies and TV series, old classic TV series.
I would have thought you would have said butter churn.
Shows like the Space Patrol and Rocky Jones.
You're not a product of the television age, Dr. Ruehl. You're a product of the electric age.
I was very much influenced in seeing these sci-fi movies at the theaters, and then they used to run the old Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers serials on TV.
So this was your deal.
And that's how
Flash
I think that
Gordon and Buck Rogers.
Space Patrol, I think, helps stimulate that.
And Space Patrol, and that actually
that
spiraled you towards becoming a nuclear physicist.
Well, science in general and the interest in ETs.
My God.
And that's, so I can attribute it to that early origin. And then another one. Because my mother would not sign a release for me to go on a field trip in the 5th grade. This is, the signature that if a child is killed, you can't sue. And she didn't like that. And then she knows what a klutz I am. I'm so clumsy and falling down. So I was sent to the principal's office while the rest of the class went to the field trip.
Yeah.
But he had a huge volume of Ripley's Believe It or Not, which I'd never seen before, and I just fell in love with that. So the bizarre subjects really took hold of me.
You love Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh, yeah, I always.
They sent me a poster a few years ago.
They did?
An intricate drawing. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, sure.
It's literally inches away.
Okay.
I just figured.
Yeah. So all of these
How could
factors,
I not mention it?
All of these factors.
If it's right there, you say Ripley's Believe It or Not. Look at this. They drew this picture of me.
Oh.
And it says Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Known for his off-the-wall video
Yeah,
bits.
don't read that. But look at that. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Isn't that strange? Just around the corner
Yeah,
there.
and look at the mouse.
Yeah.
The computer mouse.
Very nice. It was very nice of them to send that.
I think that's great. I wish
love
they'd do that.
I love Ripley's Believe It or
Yeah,
Not.
I do too. I wish they do that for me.
Yeah.
Do you know that Robert Ripley himself was afraid of telephones?
I did not.
Afraid to talk on the phone, yeah.
Why would that be?
I don't know. Just something that he was always had a phobia about the phones.
Germophobia?
No, phonophobia.
Phonophobia.
Yes, right.
Hello, you're on the air with Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Clearly not someone with a case of phonophobia.
I have a question for Dr. Ruehl.
Yes, go ahead.
That question is basically, once you made the transition from being a more traditional physicist or whatnot to studying the paranormal, what was the response from your colleagues? What kind of, I don't know, ridicule, if any, did you face? That type of thing.
You're absolutely right. I think that there's, if not outright ridicule, they look down, the professional community looks down on people who cover these subjects. However, my response, as I said, at the various aerospace firms where I've lectured, they have the so-called monthly dinner meeting with the speaker. Many have come up, and I've had a good response there. But I think still the basic idea is that someone who's going to argue that ETs exist and argue for these other controversial subjects, the existence of lake monsters and Bigfoot creatures, is not, they just don't feel it's being scientific. I feel they're not being scientific, but I think they're too close-minded and not opening their minds to the idea that some of these creatures could exist. But there is a certain degree of prejudice, no doubt about it.
Thank you for your call. Having a great time tonight here with Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Before we go any further in the show, it wouldn't be right to not thank our sponsor, the Samsung Upstage. This is a great telephone. We have a sponsor now, Dr. Ruehl.
Great.
We're very excited about it.
Okay.
And let's have a look at a picture of the Samsung Upstage. Rock and talk, a phone you can dance to. The Samsung Upstage is so unique you have to see it and hear it to believe it. On one side, it's a slim, stylish Samsung phone with stereo Bluetooth wireless technology and a 1.3 megapixel camera. On the other side, it's a slim, stylish Samsung music player with touch-sensitive media controls and a stereo speaker. Either way, it's a phone you'll flip over. Isn't that great? We've got a sponsor now.
3 cheers to Samsung. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Things are going.
I wish they'd sponsor my show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll have to talk to them about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Samsung, for sponsoring the show
Definitely.
tonight. They are, you could in some ways say, they are responsible for this.
Okay.
Hey, you're on the air.
Hi, I have a question for Dr. Ruehl.
Yes, go ahead, yeah.
What's your name?
My name's Lindsay.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Warminster, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what you had to say about time travel, because you said you were going to talk about it, and you never did.
This woman's paying attention.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
And first I want to talk about the so-called time paradox.
Mm-hmm.
The argument against time travel is actually embodied in this idea that if a person could go back in time, he theoretically could kill his parents before he was born. This is theoretical. Or he could kill his grandparents and prevent his own birth.
Like in Back to the Future, where Marty McFly ended up dating his mom and then the whole thing got screwed up.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
Yes,
That's why we're
I love
talking
anything
about this.
dealing with time travel.
Okay.
But the question is, if he could kill his parents and prevent his birth, then how could he travel back in time to?
Maybe those people
because he was never
they
born.
just disappear. No one ever hears
he was
about them.
Born. So this is the time travel paradox. If he could do this, then how could he have traveled back in time?
Maybe the reason
he was never born.
He never would do it.
Yes, but the point is,
some goofball would do it. Some freak.
This is just something that could occur. But then there are other theories.
You know, someone would ruin it for everyone, right?
Paralleled many, infinite number of parallel lines we could go back so that you could still travel back in time.
That doesn't disprove it, though. That just means that maybe, if someone did that, there'd be a problem.
Yeah. And
They'd probably have to call...
And we know that, for example, that an astronaut, for example, who would be traveling, let's say, 95% at the speed of light, could come back and find that he'd only aged a couple of years, whereas everyone on Earth had aged 100 of the whole planet. And that then shows that we're getting to the point where there's one type of time travel that would be allowed by the Einsteinian relativity, because the faster you have time dilation. The faster you travel, the closer you come to the speed of light, time slows for you, so you would age much slower. Okay. And then you could come back to Earth. And this has been explored in many different ways in time. But even though we have the time paradox, I think that there might be a way that especially more advanced civilizations may have solved that problem. And in fact, some have asked, well, we see these childlike, that ETs might be from our own future. And there's some that look childlike. It's called neoteny.
E.T. might be from Back to the Future.
Well, the point is that we might, if we in the future we could find a way to solve the time travel problem and come back, you would want to be careful not to disturb anything here. And that's another reason why they might be avoiding us. They don't want to affect anything in the future, because one slight change could completely overturn the future. And we have that question, the very famous Ray Bradbury story, where they were able to conquer time and go back in time, and they were going to watch.
Is it a long story?
It's very short.
Is it so famous we don't need to hear it?
No, it is, because it's the idea.
I'm just joking. Tell the story.
Idea.
Hey, when I think of the internet, I think of a bunch of people sitting around wanting to hear about a Ray Bradbury story.
They were.
This sounds like a ratings coup. Come on, where's the Sasquatch?
A T-Rex died.
Where's the alien stuff?
No way.
Isn't there a spaceship or something we can look at?
They're watching
Ray Bradbury, Schmadbury, Cadbury.
T-Rex dying.
Yeah. Okay.
So there'd be no way to affect the future. But one guy on this platform fell. His foot got down. They came back to the future, and here the future had changed. The Nazis had taken over, and the guide looked at the one tourist's foot, and he saw a feather on the bottom, and he realized that somehow he must have stepped on something, or maybe a bird, and that
maybe he stepped on a piece of
changed the future. Just one slight act changed the future,
yeah,
and that's why the Nazis had taken. And this
just like in Back to the Future.
This is also the butterfly effect.
Remember the guy got the sports almanac?
Yeah.
And he went back and he could bet on horses and stuff and get all this money?
Right.
That could happen.
Right.
So it's not possible is what you're saying.
I'm saying that we can always have to keep an open-minded science, because who would have said even 10 years ago that everyone around today would be walking around with cell phones, 1/4 of which are already equipped with cameras? We had that question maybe
very Orwellian.
Yeah, 10 or 15.
Like George Orwell said it first.
10 or 15 years ago, they're talking about having video phones set up on the desk beside your phone.
Isn't it amazing that George Orwell wrote that book in 1984, and now here we are and it's a reality?
Well, it's amazing with so much in science.
He didn't write it in 1984. He wrote it in like the 1864 or something.
No, it's about 1946.
Oh, is that what it was?
Orwell's contemporary.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. But the
1984 and 1946 to you are just kind of like...
No, but I mean, he wasn't from the 19th century.
I know, I'm just goofing around.
But the point is...
I'm saying that he didn't write it in 1994.
What we're talking about...
They thought that was happening in 84,
too. Look at the problem. If you were to take a man from 1907 and teleport him to 2007, he definitely suffer a severe case of future shock. I mean, we're just talking about...
Future Shock, of course, was a great Herbie Hancock album, too, I believe.
The whole point is that anything we can conceive of...
Herbie Hancock, for instance. What are your views on him?
Even sci-fi.
Dr. Ruehl, honestly, let's talk seriously for a second. What are your views on Herbie Hancock?
Well, I'm going to have to tell you, I don't know.
You don't know a whole lot about Herbie Hancock?
I just want to talk about the idea that how the progress shoots up exponentially. So everyone's talking, I mean, who would have thought even 10 years ago everyone's walking around with a cell phone when we couldn't even get the video phones on the desk? Or that we have, the
rocket,
VCRs, television. You take a person from 1907, so time travel, I think we may be able to carry that out. And again, I was getting a question, could future astronauts come back? And we see this sometimes described. The ETs are sometimes described as being very childlike. This is called neoteny, and one idea is that we are evolving to this neotenous state where we look more childlike. This could account for the ETs from our own future coming back, and that's why some of them look childlike. Thank you for your attention on that. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your attention to what I was saying.
This guy's got a keyboard. Michael Schleicher, fakest name I ever saw on a computer screen in my life. We're here with Dr. Franklin Ruehl tonight, having a good time. Oh my gosh, did the time ever fly by? It's 8:56. Okay. We've been on the air for 56 minutes.
May I just show you something I prepared for us here?
You brought some stuff here.
I know.
Oh my gosh, it's Squid and Charlie from Colorado. I love it. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, Tom.
Yeah, we were just doing some Herbie Hancock, the Rocket here with Dr. Franklin Ruehl, a gentleman who knows nothing about Herbie Hancock, but a hell of a lot about everything else in the world. And we're having some fun tonight. He's got a little drawing for us here.
It took me an hour and a half to prepare.
Wow, geez, well, next time, don't bother.
Artistic skills, there's something to be desired, but here we have the two largest stars ever discovered. They're in our own galaxy, NGC 3603, a binary
Lift it up
pair.
a bit. We can't see the
What's
finger.
important is that one is 114 times our sun, the other 84 times the size of our sun. And what I submit to you is that the larger one could have 1,000 planets orbiting it, Tom, and the other might have, say, 750. No extrapolating.
My question is, how did this take a long time to make? Honestly, look at it.
I had to staple it very carefully, and I had to draw that by hand. I didn't use a compass either.
All right. So what else do you have to show us?
Okay, so that was the point, is that when we consider a star
I love that
might have
Squid and Charlie are here.
1,000, hi boys, 1,000 planets around one sun. Think of how many types of life, how many types of civilizations might be involved in that one fantastic solar system. And then with considering there are binary planets, stars orbiting each other, the interaction between the 750 and the 1,000, we could have had conquest, we could have had all types of
See the red light? Look at the camera with the red light.
Yeah, civilization.
See the red light, the other one. Go, see that one?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, see the one with the red light?
Yes, I do.
Go for that one.
Okay, now this is my drawing. This took me only
Maud,
20...
is that Maud from the popular show Maud from the 70s?
No, that's Monday Baroon.
Oh, it looked like Maud. I thought it looked like B. Arthur to me.
A Bigfoot creature that's been reported in northeastern India. This means jungle man. Some have reported even seeing more than one creature at a time. One man claimed he saw two adults in which looked to be two junior creatures. Okay. So again, in many parts of the world where there's forestation, you may have different varieties of Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever you want to call them.
Don't say that about the Golden Girls.
Okay, and may I point out just the best film, in my opinion, involving the Yeti or Bigfoot was simply The Abominable Snowman, starring Forrest Tucker and Peter Cushing from 1957.
Know it well.
Superbly acted. My only objection was when we saw the creature at the very end, we only saw them from the nose up. We didn't see their full face or their full bodies. I don't know why.
Because they couldn't do special effects before 1981.
Hammer, they could have at least showed it. And that was my only disappointment with that film, but done very intelligently. So I commend that to any of you who want to see a serious film on Yeti, Bigfoot, The Abominable Snowman, and check it because it's on periodically. High commendation, superb acting by everyone involved.
Now, what's some video that we have in the hopper here tonight, Logan? And I'd like to say thank you, by the way, to Squid and Charlie for checking in with us tonight. They were a big hit the other night, and it's good to have you guys with us. These guys are in Colorado, Dr. Ruehl. Why don't you say hello to Squid and Charlie real quick?
May the power of the cosmos be with you, Squid and Charlie. Yes! Yes!
You too, Dr. Ruehl.
Now, why don't you guys have a quick conversation and get to know each other for a second? I'd like to see what you two have to say to one another.
All right. What do you think about Alien Gonzalez?
Alien
Gonzalez.
The Cuban 14-year-old or young boy, what was he, an 8-year-old boy in Miami who was taken and reunited with his family in Cuba. Is this who you're talking about?
Yeah. Just a little joke. It's alien, you know.
Oh, alien.
Well, it actually was Elion, right?
Elion, that's right. Yeah, right. Elion Gonzalez.
Okay, let's do another joke now.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe this one will be better.
Oh, you want me to do another joke?
No. Actually, how about let's just leave the jokes to Dr. Ruehl. How about you just ask him another question? Serious question from Charlie.
Why was the colt...
This is Squid. This is Charlie.
Why was the colt having trouble speaking?
No. Let's hear.
He was a little horse.
Oh, okay. Why was the colt? Yeah, very cute.
A little horse.
Yeah. One of my favorite jokes of all time was told to me by my father when I was probably about an 8-year-old boy.
Yes.
We were camping, actually, and we had just seen a large snapping turtle. That has nothing to do with the joke. The joke was similar to your joke. It was, there was a big guy and a little guy on the roof, and the big guy fell off. Is that what the joke was? Oh, no. I know what it was.
Oh, mate, what's the vampire's favorite fruit?
Geez, I think I forgot my favorite joke.
Okay. What's the vampire's favorite fruit? Would you believe? A nectarine. A nectarine.
Oh, yeah. See, this joke is very similar to that. Oh, I know what it was.
Okay.
There was a big moron and a little moron on the roof, and the big moron fell off. Why didn't the other guy?
I don't know. Why?
Because he was a little moron.
Oh.
Huh?
Okay, Tom, very good.
That's when I knew I wanted to get into comedy.
What do you think about the giant squid? It used to be like a mythical beast, now it's a factual creature.
Good question.
Well, I think
coming from a man named Squid, you would think that he...
Right.
Oh, you're Squid over here, right? That's Charlie. How embarrassing.
And see, we only, unbelievably, even though it's our own planet, the seas are so vast, it's estimated we only know of 10% of the actual creatures that exist. And we're always coming up with these bizarre creatures. You know, we take the squid for granted.
Oh, absolutely. I think everybody does.
But the squids, first of all, squids, by the way, are very intelligent. And they
I did not know that.
They're very dexterous, too.
You should have it play, what's it called, Deep Blue. Put them in a room, huh? Put Deep Blue in a room with a squid.
But we take the squid, for example, for granted. But this is a very unusual creature. You know, an 8-legged creature that moves in the sea.
Yeah.
So why not, alien beings?
And don't they have chicken of the sea as well?
Yes, they do.
Chicken of the sea?
Yes.
What's that you're playing in the background, Logan? Let's look at this for a second. Oh my gosh, what is that?
That's supposed to be a prehistoric shark, as it says there.
We pulled this off YouTube today.
Megalodon?
I don't know. Is that now? They actually have live video of this. Where did they get this video? Is this? Have you seen this before?
No, this is the first I've seen this, and it's.
Oh, okay. Well, what are we looking at it for? Take it off. It's disgusting.
No, it's not disgusting.
No, it is.
It's strangely attractive.
It is. It is actually, yeah. But that's why we should. That's another reason we should take it off. But Dr. Ruehl's flipping out over the shark.
Well, that's why I
no, it was a beautiful animal, sort of.
Well, in its own way, yes. There's beauty in everything.
What was that? Was that some prehistoric shark that no one had seen before? What's this? A two-headed beast?
Again, I've claimed that two-headed dinos may once have existed on our planet. We have, two-headed frogs. We just had the death of an 8-year-old two-headed snake. And that was in the news.
Oh, okay.
It's been well known.
8-year-old two-headed snake just died.
Just died.
I heard there was a two-headed lizard just born though.
Right. And I think I saw that. Yeah. So, but that's the whole point. So if these,
maybe it was one two-headed snake passing its sort of spirit on to another two-headed lizard to be in the news for another 8 years.
But the point is that while the dinos were not reptiles, they shared a characteristic of being oviparous, that is, egg layers. And a two-headed entity would have a better chance of survival in its passage through the birth canal if it was encased in a shell. So you don't have two-headed mammals so often. but you do have these two-headed reptiles and amphibians. And I submit that in the future, in the next 20 years, somewhere in terra firma, we'll find one dino fossil with two heads.
Yeah, I believe it.
And we've actually found an ancient long-necked lizard fossil that had one body and two heads, but of course much smaller than this.
My God.
Just
say that again. I can feel the ratings blowing through the roof.
Well, what other show?
Hear that, folks?
What other show will demonstrate the possibility of two-headed entities like this, two-headed dinos?
Absolutely.
And they could still be existent on worlds beyond our solar system.
Yes.
Dinos died out here, but not necessarily on planet XYZ in another galaxy.
No other show can you see this.
Right.
I think Jay Leno did that.
What?
I think Jay Leno did that.
See, well, there you go. Hey guys, thanks for calling. That was awesome. We got one last Skype caller, Charlie and Squid. Thank you guys. Let's take this gentleman here. What's your name? And my gosh, we're already 7 minutes over. The longest show we've done all week.
Okay.
Thanks, Dr. Ruehl. How you feeling? You getting tired?
No, I don't feel tired.
You got anywhere you got to be or what? You got anywhere you got to be?
No, not right now.
All right, good. Well, then let's have a look at some more video. What else we got there? Some more video. Let's keep this Webovision going, ladies and gentlemen, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking out for you. You see John Stamos on the internet today?
No. Okay. So we have this.
Hello there. How are you?
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing.
You having a good time tonight? I want to say to everybody watching, all of the viewers watching, thank you for tuning in, especially the regular viewers. Great to be here tonight with Dr. Franklin Ruehl. I've been doing this show for about a year and having a blast. Cut to my two-shot here. Having a blast, honestly. It looks like we're going to be doing it for quite a bit longer, too, which is fun. That's fun, right, Dr. Ruehl?
I love doing this.
Just to be open and honest for a second with our audience. You know, I do this show here every night because it's fun to me to try to do a goofy TV show, something that, you know, they would never really let you do on normal TV, you know, just like to be able to talk for an hour and a half, you know? How fun is that? We can just talk about whatever we want. For as long as we want, you know what I mean?
I know, that's the beauty of this.
That was the whole strange nature of television, is you get in there and then you sort of think, okay, well, I want to do something ridiculous, and then there's all these sort of constraints that come in and say, well, that's too ridiculous, you know, or not commercial enough or whatever. So this is what's exciting about this National Webovision, and I thank all the people for watching. We're having a lot of fun here. We've had a long show tonight, and we can talk a little longer. But it's great to have you. Great to have you here. I mean, and thank you everyone for checking out what we're doing here. We're having a good time with this new medium called the National Internet. What is this here, Dr.
Well, this
Ruehl?
just pertains to the man I'd call the candidate for our doofus of the week.
Yeah. Okay, I'll open my mail. Thanks for interrupting. Okay, go.
Doofus of the week. This is a man in Switzerland who couldn't find the plug for his bathtub. So he thought he'd put his bathroom plunger over it, so the water wouldn't run out. And he was taking a shower, slipped in the tub, and wound up with the handle impaling him. Actually, it went through his backside. He had the embarrassment of having to be rescued by the paramedics, but worse, underwent an 8-hour operation to repair the damage. So I want to say, if you can't find the plug to your bathtub, don't use a bathroom plunger. Put a can of coffee over it. But no to bathroom plungers. No to bathroom plungers. No to bathroom plungers. And don't become a candidate.
I just like that you hit the camera. That was cool.
Candidate for our Doofus of the Week award. Don't be a Doofus of the Week. Don't put a bathroom plunger over the hole in the tub if you can't find the stopper.
Absolutely. What else we got here?
Okay, we have here. Oh, here's a coffin. A woman down in Peralview, North Carolina, was paying.
Looks like an artichoke. How's that? Okay, it's a coffin. Okay.
Yeah, it's a coffin. Was paying her final respects to her good friend who died, and she was reaching over to toss flowers.
Stop leaning forward. You're ruining your single. Oh. Yeah, just right there is beautiful.
Okay, so she was leaned over to toss flowers on the casket, instead fell in, fractured her hip. She survived, but she's trying to sue both the mortuary and the city, but they blame her because they were told, they said that she was warned not to get too close to the grave. So if you're going to a funeral, toss the flowers from a distance. Don't get up close. We don't want any of you getting injured out there. We're in this fierce ratings world. We can't even afford to lose one of you. That's how important each and every one of you viewers is. Be
You're
careful.
all very important.
Yes.
All 37 of you.
Okay. Now, we've discovered in Africa insects that actually eat fish. You know, we normally think fish eat insects.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. That's what I normally think.
These large bugs actually will sting the fish, paralyzing them. Then they'll go in for the kill and actually just suck out.
Bugs that big as that rubber fly you're holding in your hand there?
Well,
shaped exactly like that?
Not quite. I don't have the exact model. This is
it's not the right visual aid at all.
Just a representation that's visually engaging for our vast audience.
Is that even a real animal, or is that just some Hollywood device?
This is I've spent a lot of money to get that.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that they actually are killing
CVS
small
pharmacy.
fish. Killing the fish.
Wait a minute. We have any more video in Logan that we haven't looked at? Because another Bigfoot. Let's look at the last Bigfoot video.
Okay, sure.
You know, let me tell you, I went up to Seattle, Washington, drove out there into the Washington outback and met with one of the most renowned Sasquatch experts.
Grover Krantz, possibly?
I believe it might have been him,
because
yes.
he's passed away, but he's certainly
No, it probably wasn't him then, because he was very much alive at the time.
Yeah, but what year was this?
It was about 3 years ago.
It's possible.
5 years ago.
It possibly is Grover Krantz.
Oh, really?
Because up there in Washington.
Oh, he has a tape, a lot of tape.
Yeah, there are other experts, but he certainly would have been the foremost.
Well, I hope it wasn't Grover that I met.
No, well, how old was he at the time?
Seemed like he was probably in his late 40s.
And maybe it's another expert.
Yeah. Could have just looked good for his age, though.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's obviously the chance for fake.
He had a tape.
Yeah.
Audio tape that he had recorded himself. He witnessed Sasquatch. He saw a Sasquatch when he was 12 years old. And it had affected his life so greatly that he studied Sasquatch his whole life. But he also became quite affected by it because he's made this his life, and everyone around him sort of has passed judgment on him.
Yeah, well, that's the same type of prejudice I've experienced to a degree.
He's got cement Bigfoot feet all over his house, lying all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, there's
in the
a lot of
garage stacked up.
But we're never going to convince a disbelieving world till we can capture one of these creatures. Some feel that wouldn't be fair.
We should eat it.
I feel, and some of my colleagues don't agree. They feel it should be left alone, but that's the only way to prove it is to bring one back alive.
Now, which colleagues of yours feel we should leave this alone?
Well, for example, when
have you had arguments about this late at night?
Actually,
capture the Bigfoot. No, leave it alone. It's just
we were
minding its
debating
own
this,
business.
and I went up on with Current Affair with my two colleagues.
Who, you and Maury Povich sit around and scream about this stuff?
Maury Povich wasn't involved at the time. This is actually Bert Kearns who was.
You and Tim Green angry arguments about the Sasquatch?
No, I never actually met Tim Green because he was back east and I was out here.
Oh, he's a big shot. I didn't even want to say hi to you.
Well, he said hi to me
Tim
on the camera.
Green.
He interviewed me indirectly on the camera, but the point is...
Good guy?
He's a nice fellow. He used to be a pro football player. He's handsome and he's written some books.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know him?
No, I don't know.
Tim Green.
Tim Green, yeah.
Tim Green, yeah.
My name is similar. Similar to his, yeah.
Yeah. But I want to say that my two colleagues, Cherie Curry and Brett Hudson, said that...
Mary Curry? You work
Cherie
with her?
Curry.
Oh,
Cherie Curry.
Well, same difference.
She's actually a very beautiful girl.
Marie Curie is a great nuclear physicist. Man, what would you have thought of hanging out with Marie Curie? Would that have been just something?
It would have been fantastic.
Yeah?
But she's passed away many years ago.
From radiation, right?
Yeah, well, that's possible.
Quite affected by radiation.
But the point is that Cherie Curry, who actually...
Yeah, let's not get sidetracked from Cherie Curie with Marie Curie.
Jodie Foster in the movie Foxes.
Yeah.
And
yes,
with me was Brett Hudson, who was one of the Bredson boys.
Sure, yeah, we all know the movie Foxes with Jodie Foster.
And she actually did...
This is more of a Panic Room audience, I think we got around.
Okay, but the point is that they didn't agree with me that we should capture. I feel it should be captured and studied for 6 months and released in the wild. Of course, once captured...
Jodie Foster was. Captured and released.
But the question is, but only by bringing him back can we actually prove it, study it, and find out what's
The
evolution.
Sasquatch.
The Sasquatch.
What would you do when you caught it? Would you
probably have to tranquilize
sedate it, probably.
just as we do with bears.
Yeah.
And
have you seen that movie Harry and the Hendersons?
Yeah, very well done.
Well done, isn't it? John Lithgow, one of his great accomplishments.
Oh yeah, I think they. And
Cliffhanger was also quite good.
Yeah, but
if you're into Lithgow, you might want to check that out.
Okay.
Or Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah. But I want to say that that's
you
the only way
seen the movie Cliffhanger with Stallone, John Lithgow? Sorry, we were talking about Harry and the Hendersons.
I'm just talking about the fact whether or not what we should do if we actually capture a Bigfoot. And the ethical question of just with any creature we capture, is it ethical to put him in a cage or study him? And I think
maybe they could put him in the LA Zoo.
Ultimately, and I do think the idea of pay-per-views I mentioned with aliens would certainly be appropriate. With
it kind of though does put it in perspective though, the idea of having animals in zoos. When you think about, well, imagine we caught this magical, mystical creature, the Sasquatch. The first thing we do with it is stick it in a zoo.
Well, or on this,
just like any other animal.
Or put it in some special menagerie, and certainly
pretty disrespectful, though.
It's disrespectful, but science has to answer these questions. And
why?
Well, it's part of finding knowledge. We want to find out how it fits in evolution.
We want to find out about 6 gorillas in the woods that have been hiding from us so desperately for the last 1,000 years.
How their evolution differs. Were they another branch?
What do we gain from that? I agree with you. I don't think we should catch the Sasquatch.
No, I said we should.
You did? Okay, well, I disagree with you.
Okay.
Vehemently.
Okay, great.
Vehemently, Mike.
Okay, Tom, I guess I won't be on the show.
Put those scissors down while we're arguing.
I wanted to tell you about the scissors. It's a recent case that just from a bar. Okay. I always cover bizarre news, and I'm intrigued by it. There's a barber in Amsterdam.
Never cut from a single to a single, Logan. What barn you stumble in here from?
A barber in
cutting
Amsterdam.
From a 4 to a 5 identical singles.
A barber in Amsterdam, Tom, got into an argument with one of his customers
Logan,
in 2000.
Can you go get the door? It's my friend Tom Rapisi from the William Morris Agency.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he your agent?
He is a friend of my agent, and he's working with us here at the channel.
Okay.
And later on...
they said that I'm unmarketable. I'm still looking for an agent, so if there's any out there...
Here's your opportunity.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that 2000...
Just tell Tom we're on air a little late tonight.
2000...
He didn't realize he was going to be interrupting the broadcast. But
are you paying attention? Yes. The barber in Amsterdam, for 5 years, 2000... stabbed to death a customer. They got into an argument.
Put the scissors down.
And he stabbed him with his barber scissors.
Frightening everyone.
Now he was acquitted. Just last week, he stabbed another customer. Customer didn't die, but now he's been arrested. And we're wondering about that case from 2000. What I want to say is, and I don't know if you've ever had a bad haircut or...
Today. Yesterday, actually.
But don't get into an argument with the barbers.
We're going long tonight, man. It's Dr. Franklin Ruehl. You just can't stop talking.
At the very least, he can really cut your hair up.
Put the scissors down. You're flipping me out.
Okay, don't worry. I'm not like this barber. I just want to demonstrate that. Don't get into an argument with the barber. Just start coughing.
Put him down. I can't hear what you're saying with them in your hands.
Start
freaking me out.
Start coughing. And so you have to leave so he doesn't do any more damage.
Hello,
so don't get into a fight. We don't want any of you killed. Again, we're in a ratings war here. We need every one of you.
Good, really good.
What did he say? What's his question?
Go ahead and speak to the doctor.
What's your question?
I have a question for you. If you had to choose one of them to hang out with, an alien, Bigfoot.
Bad question.
No, I agree. That's a very good question.
Next caller, you're on the air.
An alien, a Bigfoot, or Lake Mont. I would opt for the alien. Aliens at the top of the list. Very good question. Excellent question.
Right.
Next caller.
Wait, guess what?
Hello, you're on the air. Guess what? You got hung up on, loser.
Is it possible to teleport Dr. Ruehl into Bigfoot's loose asshole?
I'm glad he got away with that. You're on the air.
I think teleportation is possible.
Here we go. We got a nice guy here.
Hey, can I actually look like without your glasses on, please?
What's he want?
He
now?
wants to see what you look like without your glasses.
No, I don't take the glasses.
You don't take them off?
That's too horrible.
Really? Rachel Harris took her glasses off last night when
Well, I'm not Rachel Harris.
Could I try on your glasses?
No, you couldn't see through them.
Okay. Sorry, Dr. Ruehl says no way. Okay.
Actually, you know, when I'm reading the computer screen, I found that I see better without the glasses on.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was doing it, and I said, "Why are you not? You have your glasses?" I said, "I can actually at this angle see the screen better." I said, "I tried it, and I found that that works for me too." But I couldn't drive without my glasses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I was amazed that you could read that monitor before. I mean, I need it much larger.
Oh, yeah.
I have terrible eyesight.
I've got fighter pilot vision.
You do?
Yeah.
No contact.
20 over 15.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's fun.
I went to an optometrist once.
Yeah.
To get fitted for a plastic wandering eye contact lens. It was a stunt thing. And he asked me to read the
chart.
The chart. Thank you. Read it further than anyone he'd ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Yeah. We've got to let the world know, Tom. I'll try to get you some publicity on that, okay? In the tabloids.
I got pretty good eyesight, ladies and gentlemen.
He does.
Yeah.
Because
pretty good.
That is absolutely amazing. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
Is this the first time
you want to test it with those cue cards you got there?
These aren't. Okay, let's see.
No, what are those cue cards? What's this you brought?
No, this is just.
I don't want to talk about my eyesight.
I was going to give the audience a trivia question.
No, in the plastic thing that you brought.
It's just these two.
No, in the plastic. The thing.
Oh, the plastic. That says Vault of Strange Deaths. Let's read a couple of them.
What? These are cue cards.
No, not cue cards. These are the question. Okay. Weird action by a lawyer. Now, this is an attorney, New York City. A few weeks ago, he's on the 69th floor. Suddenly opened the window and jumped out to his death. We don't know if he lost a case or what it was. But a lawyer jumped from the Empire State Building, 69th floor to death. So here's a minor trivia question.
Maybe he was depressed.
Well, obviously. The Empire State Building, built in 1931, so it's been around 76 years. How many suicides, roughly, would you say have there been? How many people have leapt to their deaths from the Empire State Building?
27.
This is, guys, great. It's very close. They're not certain the exact number. They're estimating a little over 30, maybe 31 or 32. He said 27.
It's much more difficult to jump off the Empire State Building than, say, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, well, they're not getting to the top. See, this is.
Have you seen this documentary about the Golden Gate Bridge now? It's a big film out now. It's called The Bridge.
No, but I know they're always trying to prevent
Catchy
people
title.
From jumping off.
They actually filmed the Golden Gate Bridge for a year with a long-angle telescopic lens and captured about 100 people leaping to their deaths in 1 year.
Okay, here we have a case in Manchester, England. A man was window cleaning. This is Vault of Strange Deaths. And he fell off his ladder. He's only one story up.
Say that again. This is the Vault of Strange.
The Vault of Strange Deaths.
This is the Vault of Strange
Deaths.
Deaths.
I call it a vault because it's purple and.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that you come with a Vault of Strange Deaths.
Okay, so the man was window cleaning his windows at his home, fell off the ladder, and he drowned. Now, how did he drown? His head fell in the bucket of water that he's using to clean the windows, and he actually drowned window cleaning. So that's why I say anytime you're cleaning windows, wear a mask. Again, we can't afford to lose any of you out there. We're in a fierce ratings battle here.
Wait, you're saying he stuck his head in a bucket and died?
No, his head fell in the bucket and he drowned in the bucket of water.
How does your head fall in a bucket?
Because he fell off the ladder into the pail of water, and he drowned.
So what, never have a pail near your ladder? Is this the moral of the story?
Or have a mask over your face when you're window cleaning.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it's ridiculous to die that way.
You could get your stuck face and everything.
Yeah, but this man died, so this is a warning to you out there.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Hello, you're on the air. Hey, how are you?
What's your name?
What's your name there on the Skype?
Brian.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I just wanted to say first off, I think this guy's a genius. I've just been
listening to him rant.
Well, thank you. Now let's talk about Dr. Franklin Ruehl for a minute.
I had a question for him. He was talking about time travel before, talking about going back in time and what it'd be like if you could kill your own parents. And I was thinking more along the line of, if you're saying that time travel could be invented, that would mean that we haven't invented it yet, so it has to be coming out in the future in 200 years, 100 years, whatever. So if it had been invented in the future, wouldn't they have told us?
Exactly. It would have already been. It's like it already was invented.
Well, that's the question, and the idea is that.
Had you ever thought of that concept before?
I think about all the aspects of time travel, and there have been some excellent films done, and all these questions answered. Keep going back and trying to do it right. And if you fail, then you go back again.
Yeah.
But then the question of why they went, but they might want to avoid affecting the past because any little change might influence their existence in the future. So
Marty McFly.
Right.
The Marty McFly theory that Einstein came up with.
But
I read that story too about when he steps on the butterfly and he goes back in time, and then the language is all changed.
Yeah.
And the guy shoots him at the end, right?
Right. He was angry. So almost every film about time travel is done very well. And one that I thought was very interesting. The guy went back to warn President Lyndon Johnson that the Vietnam War. Oh.
I'm sorry, you okay?
God, I'm sewing. I'm sewing.
Right?
Sorry. Come on the show to be a guest, and
does this make up for it? I'm sorry. Does this make up for it?
No, maybe $10,000.
Oh, okay.
We settle out of court.
All right.
Okay, so
just a rubber ball. Are you really okay? Should we call an ambulance?
Science. The scientists went back in time to warn Lyndon Johnson that this was a total futile effort of his Vietnam War. He said, so Johnson said, okay.
Somebody get an ad for Dr. Ruehl.
No, Johnson, LBJ, believed he was from the future. He took him to, he said, okay, we're going to send 2 million men in. 1 million is enough, we'll send 2 million. So instead of...
We gotta go, folks. That's it for the show tonight. Thanks for watching.
What about my arm? My arm.
Dr. Ruehl, this has been amazing, honestly. Let's get out on a high note, okay? Let's get you an Advil. And I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
You have fun tonight?
Now until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes, yes, yes.
What do you mean green blood?
We have a vial. The man was undergoing an operation up in British Columbia, Vancouver, for an arterial problem with his left leg. When the doctors cut open the artery, green blood began.
That's the real blood from the actual man?
Of course. Do you think we would have something phony here on the Tom Green Show? So, green blood splattering out from his artery. The question is how that happened. Immediately think, was this
Sit back in your chair. You're ruining your single.
Was this possibly an alien being? Darn it, no. It turned out that he had been taking quite a bit of sumatriptan for his pain. Sumatriptan contains sulfur, and that interacted with the hemoglobin to transmogrify his blood from red to green. So if you see somebody exuding green blood...
This doesn't make any sense either.
Green blood, it does. Don't immediately come to the conclusion.
One more. Okay, fine. I don't want to offend. I know you want to talk about it a little more.
Okay, so let's talk about this. There's a man in Belgrade, Yugoslavia, undergoing an appendectomy.
I know where Belgrade is.
Good. And suddenly another physician came in and slapped the face of the man operating on him. And then he left the room. His doctor then forgot the operation, went after him. They had a fight. One guy lost a tooth, and the guy at the having the appendectomy had to be wheeled back to his room and came back later. Obviously, this did not happen to Jimmy Kimmel. So if you see somebody, another doctor, come into your room when you're having surgery, tell him, get out, buddy, and don't be afraid of his scalpel. You tell him,
what are you talking about?
Well, who heard about...
Let's just forget about this. End the show.
Okay, unappreciative. Thank you.